to another episode of I Wonder, Doctor.
Let's talk about heartburn and answer a basic question: what is it?
I guess what I care about is what can I do about it?
Well, have you ever wondered why people get heartburn? You, as many, may have the misconception that it's a production of too much hydrochloric acid. And really, it's not. And what I'd like to do is explain it to you. This, in my own humble way, is a drawing of the mouth and then the back of the throat, and it goes to a tube called the esophagus, which ends in the stomach. The stomach and the esophagus are actually separated and closed off from one another by a muscular constriction at the lower esophagus. It's called the sphincter, or the lower esophageal sphincter. And that's not the only protection that we have from the stomach and the esophagus. The diaphragm itself forms part of that lower esophageal sphincter. It's a strong muscle that separates the chest from the stomach. Now let's go to when you eat some food. You eat the food, you chew it, you swallow it. It's only when the food gets near that lower esophageal sphincter that that sphincter opens up and lets that food fall into the stomach. And then that sphincter, and this is very important, that sphincter closes off. Now, once the food is in the stomach produces a very, very strong acid called hydrochloric acid, which is a major player in the digestion of protein and the absorption of minerals. Now, that hydrochloric acid cannot get up into the esophagus because that lower esophageal sphincter blocks it off. And here's the deal around GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease it's called, or acid reflux. If that lower esophageal sphincter weakens in any way and is partially open, the hydrochloric acid can climb up into that esophagus. Problem, though the stomach lining cells are very well designed to handle a strong acid by nature, the cells of the esophagus are not, and they will get burned by that hydrochloric acid, causing inflammation, and that's a problem.
Got it. So it's not the production of too much acid. After all, we need that acid. It's that acid getting where it doesn't belong. That's what hurts.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And how does it hurt? Well, if you have normal skin and you drop hydrochloric acid on it, it's going to itch, you're going to feel it, but no big deal. It's healthy skin.
Yeah.
But if right next to it you had some sunburned skin and you dropped a drop of acid on it, that is going to hurt like wild. So once the esophagus gets inflamed and you get a little acid up there, that's when the heartburn really sets in and worsens.
So the first time some acid gets up in there, it hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
But then it burns.
Yep.
It leaves a burn, like a sunburn.
Exactly.
The second time that acid gets up in there, that's when it really hurts because it's touching on burned skin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's how do you put the fire out? And you can do so from anything that neutralizes the acids to medicine so strong that they can shut off the stomach acid. Now this can be done for a relatively short period of time, but it's not a good strategy for the long run. And looking at the long run is really another thing we want to do in future videos. And I wonder, Doctor, because there's a lot of steps to see how in the world did you create this issue of the relaxation of the lower esophageal sphincter, and then what do you do about it, and what aggravates it, and what measures can you take over the long run to heal it?
This feels like a really important subject because there seems like there's a misnomer out there, at least in America, at least as I see it, and it's something like this. If you have GERD, you're producing too much acid and you got to tamp it down. And then you have too much acid again, you got to tamp it down again. Then you're having too much acid again, you got to tamp it down again, and that this is the way that we heal it. We keep tamping it down, but we need those acids, and the act of tamping it down is the reduction of the acids that we need.
Precisely. And there's even less favorable circumstances in which people are taking the acid-reducing medicines perpetually, on and on, without stopping.
Yeah.
You shut down your acid so you don't get the burn.
So I guess what I need to know then is, have you had patients cure this?
You know, in the world of medical issues, very often people get a handle on this one. Sometimes the issues run deeper and there's infections in there that are part of the inflammatory process. Yet, it's like anything in medicine, healing is possible. Learn enough about it, address the causes, they're always there, and sooner or later you can get a big handle on this and even eliminate it, as many people have done.
Great. There are more videos in this series available in our weekly school. Click to join. It's free.